What does it mean to be on guard in the spirit? To be aware or to allow yourself to allow God to show you signs and be aware of things that God has placed before you by asking God to open up your spiritual eye to show you things that you wouldn't necessarily see in the flesh. To take heed to warnings and things that God is saying to you through the word, and to know how to go to God for the answers you need for what it is He needs you to be on guard for. How to recognize it is taking it to Him. How to recognize the things you need to be on guard for is simply asking God to reveal things to you, through you, all day, and staying in Him, being connected to Him. But my word today was how to be on guard about self-pity. And it's so good because how many of us have been like right on the edge, like to where you like, oh my God, like I know my breakthrough is coming, but setbacks and held ups from the world or the attack of the enemy may be strong on your life in this moment, which would cause you to want to be on the edge of the pit of self-pity. And today I felt myself about to be on the edge, and God reminded me to stay away from the edge, know when I'm at the edge and what to do when I recognize myself being at the edge. What is self-pity? Okay, I had to look up the word self-pity because I'm like, I kind of know what it is, but do I understand? But when you get in that mindset of I just, you be down on yourself like, Lord, I know and I need this, and whoa, there's me. Like, God, but please, and it's just, like just being negative or speaking negative things over yourself, over your life, over your situation because of things you can't necessarily change in the situation. Whoa, there's me behavior, like just being down on yourself instead of being proactive in Christ and getting on your knees and praying, being in prayer, and being patient with God's answer. So when I found myself today getting in that spot where I'm like, Lord, I know you said this was coming. I know, and I know you didn't give me this for this to happen. So when I found myself talking to myself that way, I'm now like identifying it like, oh, it's you. Like, okay, you on that edge, you doing it. Like, you about to start, trying to beat yourself up, trying to do this and that, anything you can, but that's not being proactive in the spirit. Me being proactive in the spirit is opening up my word and looking for God to give me the right words that I needed in this time. Me staying close to Jesus and knowing that Jesus is the light and remembering the way He carried the cross with grace and mercy. Also, just being patient with whatever God's answer is, and not continuing to carry spiritual fattiness, spiritual fat, or no parasitic sin. So I had to look up what parasitic sin was, and it's just seeing that it leech onto you like a parasite, and it just want to drain all your goodness out. Like, everything you got good, it just want to drain it. It just want to change it. It just want to grab a hold to it and change it for bad. But I also looked up what it is that I needed to do to stop this parasitic sin. And God said to starve it. Don't feed it. So don't feed the thoughts. Don't feed the the person, don't feed the spirit, don't feed into anything contrary to what God has promised me and told me going into the season or going into the journey. Like, I have to literally starve the feeling of downness, the feeling of not being inadequate, the feeling of not knowing the answer, the feeling of being almost there and just needing just that little bit of oomph to get you there, and knowing that God is coming but patiently waiting. And sometimes in the waiting you can start trying to put you in it and not allow God to continue to align the situation in the way he sees fit for it to happen, because sometimes he may need you to wait. Sometimes he may need to starve a few things up off of you so that of a new, refreshed, and restorement, you can receive your portion in whole. So, baby, that word was so good today, because also in spiritual fat. So these are things that we collect in the spirit that wants to add extra weight to our journey, that wants to add on extra pounds, when we can take those things to God and God can shed those things off, just like he do in a garden, where he will come in and have you uproot something or repot something, move something, trim something. God can literally, with my carrots the other day, I had to replant my carrots in the ground, and the old stems on the carrots began to die off so that the new carrot roots, the new stems could come in. And I'm just like, that's the process of going through removing spiritual fat. Like, I have to allow God to cut and trim these things that I have eaten or taken into my system, indulged in. So that's me going to God and asking for forgiveness, me being in a position where I can be forgiven, which means my heart has to be open for forgiveness, me looking to Jesus to lead the way and not me putting myself in the driver's seat and saying, you got this. Me constantly surrendering my all and walking in my brother's example and wanting to be a sacrifice in whatever I can for the kingdom, in whatever way I can for God, in whatever way I can for the Trinity. Being a sacrifice, whatever way I can use my mouth to give praise, like doing that. Just truly changing my mindset so that God can start here and my activeness can show up in the flesh. You can actively see me moving in the spirit, in the flesh, because that's what my heart desires. My heart, mind, body, and spirit. It was deep. It was good. Y'all know y'all ain't gotta never take my word for it. The word today came from Psalms 89, 15 through 16, and Hebrews 12, 1 through 2. I read the whole, I think, Hebrews chapter 12, the very few first verses. I read all of that. And in Psalms, I read the whole 15 through 18. I read 15 to 18. And y'all know y'all ain't got never. So today, it's your girl Tally, and I'm telling you to be on guard. Be on guard against the pit of self-pity. Don't allow yourself to fall into that pit today where you're feeling, whoa, there's me. You getting down on yourself. You just feeling like, oh, it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be proactive in the spirit and look for God to show up and transition your mind so that you're constantly moving in the way that God needs you to move, even in your waiting process, even in your not knowing season, even in your starvation season, where you have to starve some things off. Look for God, look for Jesus, and be encouraged today, and know that he can pick that spirit right up, you understand me, and turn it right around. There's no need to frown, because if Jesus is in it and God is in it, for real, like, For real, for real, for real. It's your girl Tally, and y'all know I normally am excited and elated in the spirit all the time. But that laid on me heavy today for me not to be on guard of the pit of self-pity, because I don't want to fall into that pit. I want to stay right in this spot that God got me in, where I'm extremely happy. One of my kids just reminded me, I'm so happy. And I was like, me too. But God had to be a reminder to me of that. And look for signs like that. Jesus will show up in the smallest of things. And if you overlook it, like if I wouldn't have took the time to acknowledge that, I wouldn't even remember where my spirit just was. This is a happy day, and I'm so happy, elated for the things that God is doing over my life. So it's your girl Tally, and of course,